Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies podcast, man. This is episode number 2. Back with y'all once again. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. Obviously, we're going to start off with the Saints, get that out the way early. Big week for us, but before we get to that, I'm going to start off with a hot take right here. Well, I won't really call it a hot take. I'm going to call it the right take, but the Saints will win the NFC South next year. It's super early. Look, it's April 4th when you're going to hear this. It's April 4th. You may hear it later, but this will drop April 4th. So, very early prediction. I think the Saints will win NFC South. I'll go through it, a multitude of reasons why I believe this will be true. And I'm just going to start off with last year, man. Last year, obviously, the Saints finished 9-8, missed the playoffs. First time not being in the playoffs, in a while, man. It's been a normal occurrence for the Saints to be in the playoffs and things like that. But this past season was absolutely brutal in so many different ways. And obviously, we can just start. They had that Miami game. Obviously, guys being out due to COVID. We basically had to play with a replacement team. We had over 30 people out, staff out. The Panthers game, we had like 10 starters out. That was like the second or third game of the year. Can't remember. It was just a absolutely crazy season, man. And they still finished 9-8, like I said, and it was absolutely insane. And we can just get to the injuries. We can start with the most important position on the field, quarterback. Obviously, Jameis Winston 5-2 as a starter. He goes down, ACL injury against the Bucks. Trevor Siemian comes into that game, wins that game, basically finishes that game, wins it. Didn't win the game after that. Saints go on a losing streak. We playing 4 different quarterbacks because Ian Book had to play, and then Taysom Hill had to finish the season, and then he got hurt once he finished the season. So, man, just the quarterback play itself was just crazy for the Saints last year. Playing 4 guys, never want to do that. You never want to even play 2 guys, but playing 4, if you play 4 quarterbacks in the season, your team is probably going to win 1 or 2 or 3 games. I'm sure they need to do a study on that. For teams that have played 4 quarterbacks in the season, I bet none of those teams did finished over like 500 like the Saints did. I can almost guarantee that. Saints win 9-8 with that, going through all those struggles. And obviously, Michael Thomas did not play a snap. Didn't touch the field last year, preseason, regular season, not a nothing. 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 targets. Best wide receiver in the league when he was healthy. Did not touch the field. Obviously, that's going to boost the Saints. Obviously, that's going to help. You're getting a top 5 receiver in the game coming back. That's going to definitely help. Then Alvin Kamara missed games as well. Last year, unfortunately, he'll probably miss some this year for getting suspended from the league. That'll probably happen. Also, offensive line was depleted. McCoy missed games. Andres Pete out for the season after a couple games in the year. Armstead missed games, which he won't be back next year. Ramczyk missed games. Cesar Ruiz, he missed all 17 games. We ain't gonna talk about that though. Nah, but in all seriousness, man, it was a tough year, due to injuries. This the most depleted NFL team I've ever seen. Like, not even exaggerating because I'm a Saints fan, man. It was just so many injuries to deal with. Absolutely hell for the Saints. Somehow they came out 9-8, on that. Absolutely insane. And we lost some games we shouldn't have lost. I know it happens every year, but we really lost some games we shouldn't have lost. The first one that comes to my mind was the Giants game. I believe we're up 11 or something like that with like 5 minutes. I could be wrong. I don't remember the specifics because I'm trying to erase that one from my memory. But I do know the Giants came, beat us in overtime, a game that we should have not lost. Like, absolutely should have not lost that game. Ended up losing that one. We lost the game to Miami when we played with the replacements. I'm not really counting that against us. We lost the game where we didn't have our coaching staff. We lost the game against the Panthers early in the season when the entire team was basically hurt. And we also lost the game against the Falcons that we should have won. So it was plenty games we could have won that didn't go our way due to injuries or just, something crazy happening. But that's part of the game. But, still going 9-8 with all of that. That's a solid season, man. You can't even be mad at it. So looking forward to next year, man. Obviously, if we're healthy, that's going to be key. That's going to be major key in this, man. That offensive line get healthy. The guys on defense get healthy. I think COVID, I'm not going to say it disappeared or went away, but they're being lenient, on that COVID situation. So I don't think we'll miss any guys to COVID next year. Hopefully it's not a new variant, a new strain, a new anything comes next year. Hopefully that's just kind of, water under the bridge. Now we can get over that. These guys are vaxxed or whatever they have to be to just play every game. Hopefully that's the case next year. So we're not missing guys to that. And speaking of next year, man, next year, obviously, let's start off with we'll have to replace a lot. That's obvious. Sean Payton retired, hand quotations once again. He won't be with us next year. Dennis Allen is the head coach, obviously. So we're going to have to replace that. That's it's good pros and cons on that. Won't get into that in too much detail, but I honestly don't think much will change coaching style wise. Maybe Dennis Allen will be a little more, well, I guess I'll say a little less aggressive than Sean Payton. Who knows? It remains to be seen. Maybe he'll be the same. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But obviously, player-wise, man, losing Armstead, top tackle in the NFL, went to Miami. Losing Marcus Williams, top safety in the league. Also losing Malcolm Jenkins, but I think that's addition by subtraction because, honestly, I think whoever replaces him will play better than when he played this past season. So, Marcus Williams, we are basically, I won't say we replaced him because obviously he's elite, but signed as Marcus May, re-signing P.J. Williams. That'll definitely help. I think Gardner Johnson's going to play more of a hybrid role this year. He can still play in that nickel position, but I think he can also play in that safety position in the box, kind of as that third linebacker, as Malcolm Jenkins did at times, scoring some tight ends. He can definitely do that. He's strong, he's physical, he's fast, all of the above to, play that role and be great at it, be one of the best in the league at it if he wants to. With the offensive line, man, Armstead, obviously he's going to be a big, big loss, but he misses a lot of games. He's missed games this past season, so we're used to playing without him. Landon Young, James Hurst, I think those guys can step up. They played okay at times last year. Maybe they can step up and fill that void. Obviously, getting Andres Pete back, it's gonna help. I know we hate Andres Pete, but let's be honest, 90% of the time, Andres Pete is pretty good. It's just that 10% where he, looks like he doesn't belong on the football field and he should never play football again. But most of the time he's solid. But when he's bad, he's just real, real bad. And I can't get over that. And, Ruiz, he can't be any worse. Let's be honest. He can't be any worse next year. Like, he has to be better next year. He literally can't get worse than he was this year. And I already talked about Jenkins, man. Think we'll be good on that front. Then next year, man, offensively, we have to get better offensively. We have to be better offensively. Obviously, consistent play at quarterback will help. Getting Jameis Winston, that's going to obviously help us tremendously. Hopefully he can be there for 17 games. Plus the playoffs, of course. Then we're going to bring help to the wide receiver room. That's a must. That's a must. Got to draft a receiver. Maybe sign one more in free agency. We have a good group right now. Michael Thomas, Callaway, Traquan, Hardy, and the other guys. Won't go through all of them. Jalen McCleskey, LaJordan Humphrey, and some more guys that we'll have for sure competing for roster spots, but we're definitely going to probably draft one first or second round deep wide receiver draft. That's going to help this offense tremendously. Haven't had a young receiver feel like in ages that, is actually productive. I think this year will be the year we'll have a young productive receiver. I'm not really counting Callaway in that, at the moment, because I mean like true number 2 guy, high talented, high touted guy, that came in and produced right away. Hopefully we draft a receiver first round and he does that for us. Then we're going to get help at running back. I do believe in this draft we need some fresh legs at running back. We don't have a young running back on the roster at the moment. Dwayne Washington is more of a special teams guy. Not really counting on him to run the ball. Tony Jones, I thought he was going to be a breakout candidate. Some injuries derailed him, so I'm sure he'll probably compete for a spot. I'm not sure if he signed somewhere, if he's on a roster. I don't know his contract situation, so if he's back, he'll compete for a roster spot, but I do think we'll draft a young running back, and hopefully he can come help us out because Kamara's going to miss some games. Ingram is not an every down back. He's not going to carry the load for you. And I think a big thing people are missing, because we just kind of talked about it, moved on, because it's all season. You just talk about some things and then move on. Taysom Hill, full-time tight end. We didn't really get production from the tight ends last year. Juwan Johnson started off the year amazing. Didn't do really, much after that. Troutman, he was coming along, and right when he was turning the corner, he got injured. Of course, another injury to the list of injuries last year. So the tight ends really gave us nothing. Taysom Hill, he's our fastest. He's probably the most athletic. His hands are pretty good. He hasn't really, had problems with drops and stuff like that. Obviously, he hasn't gotten a lot of targets. So we'll see what his hands are truly like once he's a full-time tight end. But he's going to help this offense, man. Obviously, he's not one-dimensional. He can do anything on the field. He's probably going to get some carries next year. Playing full-time tight end is going to help this offense. It's going to make it more dangerous. You're always going to have to know where he is on the field just because he might be running a route. He might be blocking. We don't know what he's going to be doing. So that'll help the offense out. It's going to make it more creative, more hard to stop, and teams are going to have to be on their P's and Q's when they're playing us. I truly feel like, man, if we get the help we need on the offensive side of the ball, the defense is fine. Defense will be top 5 in the league. Dennis Allen's still there. Defense, nothing's really changing. We lost Marcus Williams. I know that's a big loss, but I think May will be just as good. And P.J. Williams is getting better and better. He had his best season as a Saint last year. He's in another 1-year deal with the Saints, so he's going to be having something to prove. We may still add a safety. Who knows? But if we don't, I still feel confident in the group of guys. Defensive line is going to get better. Peyton Turner didn't play at all. Forgot about him. Didn't play at all last year. He was a monster his first game against the Panthers. He's gonna come along. He's gonna probably eventually be Cam Jordan's replacement in a couple years. Cam Jordan also came along late last year. After he missed that game due to COVID, he came along, finished the season like a madman. Looked like the all-pro Cam Jordan that we've known. Well, he was always good in the run game, but he actually started rushing the passer better. Onyemata came along, who also missed 6 games, not due to injury, but he was suspended. So he'll be there full season next year. Shy Tuttle didn't have the best season. Hopefully, basically after a year of getting some rotation, getting some real good snap counts, he'll be better. Kentavious Street, Jaleel Johnson. We have guys. We have the people. Defense will be fine. Offense just needs to step it up. And I do think the Saints can win this division. And, man, I'll move focus to taking a look around the NFC South. Let's just start off with the Panthers. I won't go into too much depth on any of these teams, because if you want to see that, you can check out the other show I do with my co-host Dre, Outside Looking In. We already went over the NFC South, so if you want a more in-depth look at what I think about the NFC South, you can check that out. But I'll talk about the Panthers real quick, man. Sam Darnold, he's the quarterback. That's really all I need to say on the Panthers, man. Sam Darnold's your quarterback. You have no future. You have no hope. It's over for you. I'm not saying Sam Darnold's terrible, but he's not good. So you got Sam Darnold back there, you're not doing anything. Then they missed on the Deshaun Watson trade, obviously. That's why they have Sam Darnold. They didn't want to pay him the money or something like that. Something I read. I don't know. But by doing that, they screwed themselves probably the most out of any team going with Watson, because CMC are going for Watson. CMC names was in trade talks. A couple other guys' names in trade talks. Now you got your best player name in trade talks. Do you want to be there now still? Because obviously y'all didn't want him. Do you want to be a part of a rebuild? Man, he's entering the prime of his career. He's injury prone, things like that. Maybe he needs a new situation. That's going to be interesting to watch with the CMC. They drafted a running back last year, so we'll see what they do with CMC. If they lose CMC as well, just kiss the Panthers goodbye. They won't be a relevant franchise for years to come, because it's just nothing over there on the offensive side of the ball. Their receivers are nice. I like DJ Moore. I like Robbie Anderson. Those guys are good. Their defense is super solid. That's why they'll always be tough to beat, man. Their front 7 is solid. Those corners will be pretty good next year. So they actually defensively, they're pretty good. But offensively, Sam Darnold's your quarterback. So yeah, no hope. Falcons, oh man, they're gonna suck. I don't know how else to put it. The Falcons are going to be the worst team in the NFC South. They may be the worst team in the NFL next year. It's early, but I think they're going to be very bad. They're going to win maybe 3 games next year. I think that's the max for them. They're going to be getting the #1 pick. Unfortunately, next year they'll probably be looking at a quarterback. But yeah, man, they're just not going to be good. Obviously, losing Matt Ryan. They also struck out on the Deshaun Watson trade. They should have been the front runners. He contacted them. He wanted to be a Falcon. That fell through. They started showing him rappers and stuff like that, because they couldn't even, recruit him with players, because all their players suck. So they had to recruit him with Lil Baby and Migos and blah blah. That's how you know your football team stinks, by the way. They have AJ Terrell. They have Kyle Pitts. Those are 2 pretty good young players. They're gonna draft another good young player probably in this draft. Hopefully he's a bust. I don't wish no one, a bust, but let's just say, hope he's a bust with the Falcons. He leaves them and becomes a great player, because you don't want no one to be a bust, man. It's still their careers. These are guys' jobs. But let's just say, hopefully he plays bad with the Falcons. He leaves. He becomes one of the best players in the NFL. That'll work for me. Yeah, man. They're just not going to be good. The Falcons are going to suck. They're not going to be good. It's nothing positive I can say about them. Even if they were going to be good, I was going to come on here and lie and say they were going to suck anyway. But it's finally good to tell the truth. The Falcons won't be good. Matty Ice is gone. He was actually a pretty solid quarterback for them. I can kind of say that now. Now that he's out of there, he's in Indianapolis. So Falcons, good luck winning your little 2 or 3 games. But knowing the Saints, I'm talking shit. They'll probably beat us once, just because we're stupid like that. And then last but not least, defending champs. I know, hate to say it, defending division champs are the Bucks. They're going to be solid. Let's just be honest. They're going to be solid. Tom Brady retired, under-retired. Hopefully goes back into retirement so Kyle Trask could be the quarterback. But I think he's here. He's there for maybe 1 or 2 more years, Tom Brady. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. The man just want to play till he dies on the field, unfortunately. Then Bruce Arians, he's not with the team in a coaching role anymore. He's moving up to the front office. I don't know why that happened. I didn't really read too much into it. I just saw it and was like, oh, interesting. So, yeah, Todd Bowles is going to take over for them. So they're going to have a new coach. Basically, they're doing the same thing the Saints did. He just promotes the defensive coordinator to the head coach. Nothing's really going to change offensively for them. Brian Leftwich is still there. He has some coaching opportunities. I think he turned those jobs down, so he'll be back. Bucks are going to be solid, man. Tom Brady's back, so they're going to be a threat. But I think we're going to beat them because last year dominated them. Actually, we've dominated them every time. If 87 wouldn't have fumbled the fucking ball, I swear to God, if 87 didn't fumble that ball, it'll be a whole different conversation about. Oh, never mind. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go on that rant. Not right now. Not right now. I just hope we keep dominating the Bucks, man, and we beat those guys and we'll win the division, man. But yep, that's my bold prediction. I know it was long and drawn out, kind of gave a lot on that, but I do think the Saints will win the NFC South. I guess I'll do a little ranking. I think the Saints will be. I'm gonna go. This is gonna change, by the way, because I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Didn't write any of these things down. I think the Saints are gonna go 12-5 next year. I think the Saints are gonna go 12-5. I say the Bucks will go 11-6. Panthers will go 6-11, and then the Falcons will go 3 to get to 17, 28. Yeah, they'll go 3-28. So, yeah, man, I think that's going to be a wrap on the NFC South. I think that's how it's going to come down. We have a tough schedule next year. We'll get in all of that later down the line once the schedule's released. But the teams we play, they're going to be tough. So it's going to be a tough schedule for the NFC South. But I think we can win at least 11, 12 games if we perform and if we do the things I kind of stated earlier. Switching gears here, man, to them Pelicans. I hate to do it to the Pelicans, but I'm about to jinx them. Not really. This shouldn't be a jinx. If I jinx them, it's their fault. It's not my fault. The Pels have basically locked in a play-in spot. They didn't win tonight versus the Clippers, but that's okay because they just need to win one more game, and it's a guaranteed spot in the play-in. Or I think the Lakers lose one more game. They're like on a 6-game losing streak. So the Pels need to win a game, or the Lakers need to lose a game, and it's like 4 or 5 games left. That'll happen. It definitely happened. The Pels have locked themselves in the play-in game. They still need to win. I would rather, have that play-in game at home against the Spurs, which it's looking like it will be the Spurs because the Lakers have fallen apart. The Pelicans' little brother, Lakers, have fallen apart because the Pelicans beat the spirit out them. LeBron didn't even play in this past game against the Nuggets. He's done for the season probably. So the Lakers are done. Hopefully it's the Spurs. I'd rather, take that matchup. Even though we've beaten the Lakers a couple times this year, just give me the Spurs. I'd rather play the Spurs. I'm not scared of the Lakers, but let's just take the Spurs. And hopefully that's a home game. If they can get a home game against the Spurs, that's a very, very, very winnable game. Just got to key in on DeJounte Murray. Pirtle's pretty good. Keldon Johnson's pretty good. But, man, we have the talent to beat them. And if we beat them, it's looking like it'll be the Nuggets or the Clippers. Not that one. That's going to be a bitch. That's going to be a tough one. That's a long ways away from now. Not the Nuggets, excuse me. Minnesota or the Clippers. It's going to be Minnesota or the Clippers. Whoever it is going to be tough. Minnesota, Young Guns, Towns, D'Lo, Anthony Edwards. Those guys are good. Obviously, the Clippers, PG's back with a bunch of shooting around him. That'll be a tough game. But obviously, we have to get past the Spurs first, man. But got to give credit to Willie Green. First year as a coach. You don't get your best player. Zion Williamson, an all-star, this and that. He's not even playing. All NBA talent guy doesn't even touch the floor for you. Well, I say that. It's a couple games left, so it's hope. It's hope. He doesn't even touch the floor for you, man. So you still get in the play-in situation, even though your record's not the greatest. you still, got a chance to make the playoffs. And that'll be a crazy, crazy thing. You just basically have to win 2 games in a row. The Pels are hot right now. I'm not looking. They were on the 6th game or win streak or something like that. Losing tonight to the Clippers, that kind of changes that. But they can get right back on track. The schedule's easy to end the season, and they need to go into that play-in game hot. Hopefully they can lock into that 9 seed so that basically they can rest guys for their last game. Want to go into that game fresh. Everybody healthy. Maybe Zion can sneak in 5 to 10 minutes. Who knows? We'll see how that goes in the next week. He's traveling with the team. He's getting healthier and healthier. Obviously, he's been practicing. He's been cleared for 1-on-1. I'm sure they're going to clear him for 5-on-5 pretty soon here now. And we'll see how that goes. But, man, the Pels probably locked into a play-in spot. 99.9% chance there. They're going to make it in. They're going to get a chance to make the playoffs, and that's just a huge, huge accomplishment. But they won't be done yet. I want to make the playoffs. It's simple as that. If we get to that play-in game, I want to make the playoffs, man. The Saints didn't make the playoffs. Somebody got to do it. God damn it. And I can guarantee you, if they get in that play-in game, no one wants to play them. No one will want to play the Pelicans. I promise you that. Man, it won't be too much on LSU. Obviously, it's kind of dead seasons for college sports right now. Basketball teams were both out early in the tournament. Baseball season is going to be a long one. Not going to report every day on weekday games on baseball. Once it gets closer to SEC time and tournament time for them, it'll definitely kick up for that. Track season, they're getting their season kicked off. Nothing too major going on with that as well. So basically, LSU, we're going to be not really talking about them much, but I do want to talk about the basketball team actually just for a quick second. I think all 11 players that could come back are all in the transfer portal and 2 declared for the draft. Absolutely insane. That just tells me that some sanctions are coming down on LSU. Will Wade obviously broke some rules. We all know that already. LSU fired him, but it seems like some sanctions will be following, man, to get all 11 guys in a transfer portal. Absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it. If guys can't, play in a tournament, they're losing scholarships or whatever the case may be, I can all see it happen. It also explains why the new coach McMahon probably got a bigger deal, because maybe he knows that the first 2 years he's going to be at a scholarship loss. They can't, play in the NCAA tournament. They got a postseason ban. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look good because you got all those guys in the portal. Hopefully it's just nothing to it. Those guys just want to transfer because there's a new coach in, and probably because Will Wade was giving them that bag. Let's be honest. Will Wade was paying these players, man. So that money's probably dried up. So they're probably, got to go find a bag elsewhere, get these NIL deals. So can't blame them on that front. But yeah, it's going to be an entire new basketball team for LSU next year. Maybe he'll just re-recruit some of those guys. I don't think all 11 will leave. I think he'll convince maybe 3 to 4 to 5, maybe more to stay. Maybe some of them guys get out there and realize they don't have, too many offers. And then maybe some of them like, hold up, we don't have anyone on the team. I can probably get playing time next year because we don't have a roster. So we'll see what that does for LSU, man. Hopefully some of those guys come back, and hopefully McMahon can get, build his program. But like I said earlier, man, not too much on LSU. Pretty much dead period for them. Hopefully next week something pops up and we'll have some news on them. All right, man, that's really honestly it. I was going to talk about some of the Saints transactions and some transactions, I want to see them make, but I'll save that for during the week, and hopefully we'll sign some other people so we'll have more news, to talk about. Not too much going on this week, man. This is kind of a dead week. I kind of started this podcast in the worst possible time, honestly, because no real Saints news. No real Pelicans news because the play-in games is approaching. They're probably going to get in that. Their season may be over. But, hey, I'm going to stick with it, man, every Monday. I'll keep it going. I appreciate everyone that tuned in last week to the first podcast, man. You guys for watching that. I appreciate that. I know the numbers are always down on the podcast. I don't care about the numbers, man, but the ones that are watching and the ones that are still watching right now, we appreciate you. I say we. Who's we? I appreciate you. For real, man. And keep tuning in, man. I'll keep bringing content. But before I get out of here, if it's anything y'all want to see on the channel, I got some ideas. I do got some things that I will do to make the channel better. But if anything y'all want to see video-wise, man, topic-wise, other team-wise, even, player-wise, whatever, we can do that. We can get into some of those things, man. Just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. But as always, man, it's the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.